The Depth to Delve Deep by Rote Writer. Chapter 60 Curmudgeons. Rote finally stops working in the kitchen. He can't keep up without sleep during doing three jobs. He wants as much work as possible, but now realizes with no sleep he has to cut something out or he'll completely collapse while working full-time hours at the inn. There are times at the inn during the Friday rush hour where he almost loses it while pouring pints. He does his best to maintain decorum, though that his delirium is detectable. Occasionally he'll confuse pounds with dollars and misinterpret some of the brogue that's brought in. Other than that, he's an efficient barman, perceived as a professional by some. He knows he'll have to stop working altogether at the hostel, but for now he'll maintain the two jobs. He'll dig his way out of debt while his account balloons a balance. Rote really feels for the English during his time in Avalon. Their love of Queen and country and football teams endears him. Not only is Glastonbury decked out for the Queen's Jubilee, 50 years on the throne, but England has a team in the World Cup, and they're doing quite well with Manchester United David Beckham. He's the bandwagon's beacon of hope. The bar at the hostel is hopping for a month with English revelers ranting, Ingerlin, Ingerlin, repeatedly. The faces are painted in the likeness of King George's red cross on white background. There are many flags hoisted and placed in every front entrance edifice, literally decking the entire town of Glastonbury in fervor. All is abuzz with England. Fortunately, there is some respite from the revelry at the inn next door. All in all, it's quite contagious. Rote finds himself on more than one occasion rooting with the revelers, though never for an extended period of time. They're drunk and he's not. Aye, all in good fun, though. Sometimes it seems the entire town is drunk. In the morning before his shift next door at the inn begins, Rote will see crews cleaning up broken glass. It amasses from where the town's two main streets meet at Market Place and beyond. There's no chance, no possibility of ever sleeping soundly in an environment like that, and it's wearing on him, though he keeps on going. Rote befriends many people at both places of work, and some of the people he meets take the time to talk about their country. He's always interested in anything pertaining to the place he's in, especially when they add their own take on things, like how the Anglos anglicized England. The Anglos in East Anglia and Angleland and Anglesey all combined in some way to say England. Rote's intrigued by one of the inn's perturbed clientele whom so bluntly says one day when posed a question by Rote, well, what's the English race? The customer is caught a little off guard before he replies with a stiff upper lip, never English accent. The English are a mix, a melange, or a mutts. Rote muses and thinks they're a mixture of probably prehistoric people, Pict, Celtic Britain, Scot, Irish, Welsh, Cornish, and Manx, Norseman, Dane, Viking, Anglo, Saxon, and Jew, Norman, French, and Frank, Flemish, Dutch, German, and Jew, with a few others adding to the stew. Rote's often surprised by some of the little tidbits of lore and legend. Oftentimes he hears about it happenstance in the way it comes about. His dangerous friend, who frequents the inn daily with his stories of woe, explains to Rote one day about the meaning behind him raising his forefingers and index finger like a peace sign, only backwards. One time, he learns it means slag off. He learns the two-finger format is similar to the North American raised index finger meant to offend. He goes on when prompted by Rote to explain the meaning behind the two fingers raised as he sees it. In his story, it's customary to cut the two forefingers off French soldiers captured, done to thwart the use of the longbow, and then used later to sort of rub it in their nose as a means to insult the French. Another story surfaces, it's about boxing. One boxer in particular, the soft-spoken, ear-biting one brutally beaten by a transplanted British-Canadian boxer. Rote can tell he's quite heartbroken by Mike Tyson's loss to Lennox Lewis. He comes up with all these plausible causes, something about Tyson's water bottle being tainted. The conversation, though still on topic, changes when Rote hears his patron refer to the boxer's weight in stones. How do you measure weight in stones? His friend at the bar seems surprised by Rote's ignorance on the subject. Rote's unfamiliar with a very familiar term in England, stones. Consider the rolling stones. A standard stone weighs about 14 pounds or 6.4 kilograms. Mike Tyson weighs in at 15 stones or 220 pounds or 96 kilograms. Rote's happy to learn a lesson. Along with all the stories, a list of derogatory words grows in his dictum daily. From bullocks To slag, to prig, to shite, the word for shit. Also words like wanker he hears. He actually has to ask one of his more cantankerous clients, what the hell does that? What the hell does wanker mean? Well, he finds out it's someone who, in some way, excites his penis enough to the point of ejaculation. Masturbation. One who masturbates is a wanker. Stories and their tellers who give so graciously their time and take on their tales always enrich work. One word he becomes familiar with in many ways is knackered, where he is morning, noon, and night. He's always tired, and it's told is tearing into him.